Hi everyone and Assalamualaikum. We are from Group 2. We will present about our proposal, which is the awareness of the halal slaughtering meat, a survey among the non-Muslim community in Taman Sri Indah. So presenter for this video is number 1 is Muhammad Hafiz bin Muhammad Isa, second Idi Nadrah binti Saleh, third Dayang Nur Hazwani binti Had, and lastly Nurul Naziatul Akmal binti Syafi'i. Okay, so what we will discuss in this video is number 1, background of study, number 2, problem statement, number 3, research question, number 4, research objective, number 5, limitation of study, number 6, literature review, number 7, research methodology, number 8, conclusion, number 9, Gantt chart, and lastly, our reference.
Okay, now let's restart with the backgrounds of the studies. As mentioned before, our topic or our research is related to the halal slaughtering meat. So, what is halal? Halal means permitted or lawful. In reference to the food, it is a dietary standard as prescribed in the Al-Quran. It is mentioned in the Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 168, which means, "Of mankind, eat what is lawful and good on the earth, and do not follow the footsteps of Satan." So, from this verse, it is highlighted that halal is very important in all parts of human's life, especially when it's come to the food intake and dietary requirement. It is because halal is very comprehensive, where it includes all the elements of the hygiene, cleanliness, and also the purity. So, in order to produce the halal meat, it's not only focused on the sources itself, but should also look at the tool use, where all the utensil, equipment, and any machinery used must be clean and pure in accordance to the Islamic law. So, one of the guidelines that related to the halal meat is Malaysian Protocol for the Halal Meats and Poultry Production, which it must be followed by all the halal slaughtering entrepreneurs. Besides, this guideline also need to be supported by another guideline such as the Malaysian Standard. For example, the MS 1500 2019, because it is related to the food. So here is some of the haram sources in accordance to the MS 1500 in 2019. So the haram sources is, as mentioned here, dog, pig, and their descendants or derivative, and also the carrions or the halal animal that is not slaughtered in accordance to the Islamic law, and also the fatwa, except for the aquatic animals and the certain insects.
Okay, the next one is the problem statement. Our problem statement is the awareness of non-Muslim toward the consumption of meat slaughtered in the Islamic method. As we know, nowadays, halal product acquire share of the market from non-Muslim customer. The growth in demand and purchase of halal product may driven by increased knowledge of health and hygienic advantage of halal product. Additionally, any halal product such as the halal slaughtering may ensure cleanliness and health. Non-Muslim are sometimes becoming more aware of and understanding the context of halal goods and service. Possibly, the Malaysian culture of integration exposed and draws non-Muslim customer to halal products. Halal items do not only refer to the procedure of slaughtering animals for Muslim consumption, but they also refer to the finest quality product or service that fulfill the expectation of non-Muslim. One of the issue is how far a non-Muslim consumer understand the concept of halal meat slaughtering. It is important to be pointed out because individual behavior and perception will influence purchasing habit. As a result, this study will examine the level of their awareness and perception toward halal meat slaughtering among the non-Muslim communities in Taman Sri Indah.
About the research objective, okay, for the first objective is to determine the level of awareness towards halal meat slaughtering among non-Muslim. Secondly is to examine the understanding of non-Muslim about the halal slaughtering concept. And lastly, to identify awareness factors that influence non-Muslim consumers to consume halal meat. Okay, for research question, firstly, how far is the awareness from non-Muslim towards halal meat slaughtering? Secondly is what is the understanding of non-Muslim about the halal slaughtering concept? And lastly, what is the factors that affects the arising of awareness among non-Muslim towards the consumptions of halal meat?
Okay, the next one is the limitation. This research is only focused on halal meat slaughtering in Taman Sri Indah. The study will cover the awareness and understanding of non-Muslim towards halal meat. These are the limitation, which is the number one, only focus on the understanding of halal meat slaughtering among non-Muslim. Second, only focus on the non-Muslim community in Taman Sri Indah. Third, focus on the awareness of halal meat slaughtering among non-Muslim only.
Okay, for the literature review, the first one is the overview of the halal slaughtering. According to the Malaysian Protocol for the Halal Meat and Poultry Production, the definitions of the halal slaughtering is the process that involves the animal restraining, stunning, and severing the trachea, esophagus, and both of the carotid arteries and jugular veins. Okay, next is the awareness of the halal principle. As mentioned in the research, the non-Muslim were thought to be more interested in the halal product if they were aware of the benefits of the following the halal food production approach. Okay, the last one is the factors of the halal consumptions among the non-Muslim. Based on the research, it is stated that non-Muslim customers have grown more conscientious about the nutritionals and the ethical criteria that govern the food goods, such as the cleanliness, nutrition, quality, origin, and also the animal welfare itself.
I would like to share to all of you about the research methodology that has been used for our studies. In order to achieve the research objective, this part will assist all of you to describe the methodology of the analysis that used by researchers, such as the design of the study, the sampling of the research, the method of data collection, and explain the way of interpreting the research result chosen by the researcher. So, in order to achieve our research objective, the approach that has been used in this study is by using a descriptive approach, which is a kind of a survey. The descriptive study is used to explain, analyze, and characterize the situation, condition, and others. So, for the data sampling that has been used by our group for our study, that is the type of sampling is by implementing the cluster sampling. That is, cluster sampling is defined as a type of probability sampling. As previously stated, cluster sampling entails selecting a random sample of cluster from the population and inviting all members of each selected cluster to participate. For our study, the sample that of the awareness toward the halal meat is gathered. We get from the non-Muslim community in Taman Sri Indah. That is an example that we use together the sampling from a non-Muslim community in Taman Sri Indah. So for the instrumentation method in our study, that is from the data collection perspective, that we use a closed-ended questionnaire. Closed-ended questionnaire is used for data collection through a random distribution to 100 non-Muslim residents in Taman Sri Indah. This is because it is an effortless way for the interviewer to respond to the question, and the respondent will not become bored while doing so. Close-ended questions were chosen by the respondent since they not need much talk about the halal meat, or something that related with halal, because they are get a minimum knowledge about the halal. As we know, and the instrumental that we use to gather the data is by using a Google form that we use to collect data. As we know, Google Forms are widely used to create survey easily and quickly. Since Google Form allow us to plan an event, ask a question to people or random participant for our survey, and collect driver's type of information in a simple and efficient way. Other than that, the most important that is the usage of Google Form can minimize the usage of paper.
Okay, for conclusion, this research aims to analyze the level of awareness and understanding toward the halal meat slaughtering among non-Muslim community in Taman Sri Indah. And this research may give an effect to some people, including authority bodies and the manufacturer itself, in order to maintain the quality and credibility of halal slaughtering integrity.
Lastly is the Gantt chart. A Gantt chart, as we know, commonly used in the project management. It is one of the most popular and useful ways of showing activities, which is tasks or events, which display against time. On the left of the chart is a list of activities, and along the top is a suitable time scale. This research will be doing and done around 5 months.
And then bring us to the end. I'd like to thank you for your time and attention for today.